Give the Oilers another 2 points as they pull off the victory over the Chicago Blackhawks 3-2 in overtime. Evan Bouchard totally redeems himself on this night. I say that a little bit facetiously. Hello, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Tom Gazzola with you inside the EST Satellite Studios in downtown Edmonton, just outside of Ice District. And then you got Benny Thomson back at EST Global HQ on the city's west side. Matt Cassian will be joining us in a little bit, as will Reid Wilkins, to help break down the Oilers' overtime victory over the Blackhawks. Give the Oilers 6 wins, 6-4-3 on the season. We want to hear from you, of course, 780-218-9999. Get into the nasty chat and let us know your thoughts on the Oilers' victory. Of course, GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. A little bit bittersweet tonight. Oil country happy. The Oilers get the job done. Maybe the process a bit frustrating. We'll get that discussion going. But at the arena tonight, so much suspense, so much excitement at times. And the Blue Jays fall in Game 7 of the World Series in 11 innings to the Los Angeles Dodgers, back-to-back champs. The Dodgers with the huge comeback. And so heartbreaking, Benny Thomson. And listen, you know, I teased people and I said, I'm not a Jays fan. I'm really not. But I admire this run, and that was tremendous baseball. I felt so bad for Jays fans, and had a surprising number of people that I know were at this game tonight. Yeah. And we were all watching in the press box. We were kind of watching the hockey game in the second and third period, but it was mostly watching the Jays and seeing if they could close it out. And when they could, the Rojas home run in the ninth, like, oh my goodness. It was honestly like a phenomenal World Series, one for the ages, and it just didn't go the Jays' way. Heartbreaking, seriously. Like, and they had it playing on the big screen, and oh man, that's tough. And I feel for everybody that's a Jays fan, the bandwagon fans, the diehards. That sucks, man. And it was nice to see Canada rally and get behind Toronto's team, and how much everybody was with them through thick and thin. And oh man, just to see that sucked, but unbelievable baseball, great World Series. Tough one, Benny.
Yeah, it's so sad. Honestly, I'm not gonna act like I've been a diehard Blue Jays fan my entire life. My fandom has been pretty spotty. But I obviously the rumblings of how they were doing this year kind of got me on the wagon, and then their playoff push. Like, I was watching pretty much every game, and it was a lot of fun to watch those moments. I mean, that, like, how resilient that team is for to get to where they were against a literal all-star team in the Dodgers. It was David versus Goliath, and
Dave almost won, man.
Yep, that damn close. Like, you are in the top of the ninth inning, up a run, and you fall short. It's so sad, but I think encouraging for Jays fans for the future. Vladdy Guerrero showed that he can lead a team to pretty much as far as you can go. I mean, even in extra innings when they needed a run, hits that double, yells at the dugout, let's go, get going here. We'll see what happens with Bo in the offseason. Addison Barger, it looks like a stud, and he's going to continue to develop. I mean, and of course, you Savage, like, this kid's going to be ridiculous. So they have a bright future. It's not all doom and gloom, but obviously it would have been a much more pleasant night if the Jays took it home and didn't end up choking the lead tonight. But what can you do?
Tough one, man. Tough one. And I'm just watching John Schneider talking to the media, and that sucks, man. And, you know, that's I'm not going to say that's the way she goes, but that's a tough pill to swallow for sure. All right. On a much more positive note, the Edmonton Oilers pick up 2 points. They didn't do it in the best way. They also blew a lead, but they managed to get the win in overtime. Evan Bouchard scores the winner. He still had his gaffes and blunders tonight. There were times where the Oilers were passing up great scoring lanes and opportunities to shoot. And that's become frustrating. Podkolzin misses on a penalty shot. Good on him. I thought he was skating really well tonight. Yeah. Roslovic scores on the power play. Power play continues to stay hot, Ben. That's important. And this isn't the Blackhawks are not great, but they seem to be better. They've been off to a better start. And they really pushed the Oilers. I think it was when Edmonton got that power play. Reid and I were talking. Reid said, Blackhawks kind of took it to the Oilers after the Oilers got that power play goal. And good push. Plucky bunch in Chicago. And the Oilers managed to get the 2 points. Their game's still slowly rounding into form, I suppose. I'll give them that on this night. But they didn't even let Chicago touch the puck in overtime.
No, that was all. And I mean, pretty much that overtime winner for Bouchard was capitalizing on a tired crew that was out there for the Blackhawks. Mm-hmm. Some good chances for the Oilers. Yeah, the Blackhawks couldn't really do a whole lot. I mean, outside of a chance from the high, top of the circle for Bouchard. It was pretty good overtime for the Oilers.
All right, let's get our game analyst, Matt Cassian, on here to break down the 3-2 overtime win for the Edmonton Oilers. Bouchard gets the winner. Cass, do you want to say anything about the Blue Jays? We kind of gave them some flowers here, but go ahead. Yeah, floor's yours.
I'm just sad, right? I'm sad. It sucks. It's too bad. It's unfortunate, but there's always next year. No, I don't know. That doesn't feel right to say.
It's tough in baseball.
It's tough. It's tough. That was really good. It was fun. What an exciting game too. But just too bad they couldn't quite find a way to get it done.
All right, but the Oilers find a way to get it done. Not a great, thorough win, but they managed to pull it off. I mean, they controlled overtime. What did you like about the Oilers' victory tonight, Cass?
Well, I like that they controlled overtime. I like that they won the game. I like that Evan Bouchard scored that goal. I think that's going to be, hopefully, anyways, great for him. Mm-hmm. What else did I like about it? I liked that the power play scored. I liked Roslovic's game. I thought he played very well. You found a way to win. You found a way to win. It wasn't the prettiest win. It wasn't a dominant win, but you found a way. And that, at the end of the day, is pretty important for this group.
Stuart Skinner, I thought, made some pretty big saves tonight. Got hung out to dry a couple of times. Did he have a bounce back game? Can we call that a bounce back game for Stu, guys?
Yeah, I think so. I think that'd be fair. Not that it was like he was horrible prior to, but it was a little bit of a bounce back game in that he played well. I don't think he was terrible the game before. We had talked about that. There was the one goal that was a bad goal, can't go in. The tying one. But aside from that, it wasn't like he was horribly poor. But it was a solid game today. Yeah, very solid. So a good way to get a win for him. Maybe he was right. Maybe they're fine. Now they weren't dominant. I would have liked to have seen still more from them playing this game against the Chicago Blackhawks. But at the end of the day, guys, they did find a way to get the win, and that is incredibly important.
Benny Thomson, how would you sum up Stu Skinner's game? Did you think he was better? Yeah. And we talked about it in our text chat that we said that the missed check on that equalizing goal too.
Yeah, honestly, like Cass was saying, last game Stu wasn't horrible, but still ended up losing the game. You'd like to see a save there, and then today he wasn't fantastic. He was decent. Like he was good. He made the saves should have made. You take a 9-3-1. I think Skinner's had some unjustified under 900 save percentages this year with how the defense has played in front of him in some of these games, and so he benefits off of a night where he didn't have to face too many grade A's, but solid. Just you take a 9-3-1 every day of the week, and this Blackhawks team, like I'm seeing some people saying that it's the Blackhawks, the Oilers just stomped on them. Like, it's been a good team to start the year. And a lot of these teams are only as good as their last game. And the Blackhawks have been playing well to start this year. So to to say that this is a bad team and the Oilers should be stomping all over them like they're a lottery team. I understand. Who knows? Blackhawks could absolutely be pushing for a lottery win by the end of the year, but you take a win against a team that's had a pretty solid start for their expectations. So, but yeah, I guess back to Stu. Solid night for him. Can't really complain. You just hope he follows it up with another game like this next time he's in.
Stuart Skinner faced 29 shots, made 27 saves. The Oilers outshoot Chicago 30-29. Face-off battle 55.6% to 44.4 in favor of Edmonton. Power play 2 for 3, really good there. And PK 0 for 1. Disappointing, obviously, but good discipline from the Oilers. They've shown that all season long. Hits 18-9 in favor of the Oil. Block shots 17-14 in favor of the Hawks. Giveaways officially 17 for Chicago, 14 for Edmonton. And then the official scorers have 5 takeaways each. I'm going to get to a few texts here, boys. Sean was saying, no World Series Blue Jays talk, please. Let's focus on the positive. Oilers get it done. Thank you, Evan Bouchard. Sean, got to give the Jays a little bit of love. Biggest story in Canada, and it's unfortunate that they weren't able to get done. But you are right. Positive is the Oilers won, and we're going to talk about that for sure. This text coming in says, I'll be honest, I did not watch much of this game. I feel like that happened a lot of places across the country, coast to coast, especially here at Edmonton. But I just want to say, Skinner, 931 save percentage, Bouchard with the OT winner. Haters can suck it, says that texter out of the 807. This one says, Oilers on pace to go undefeated in November. Yes, lots of hockey to be played in November. And then Coach Mike says, if the Oilers hadn't squandered 3 points in extra time, the Oilers could be leading the division. It's funny how 9-4 looks so much better than 6-4-3, even though it's only a 3-point difference. Also, I feel bad for Jays fans. What a heartbreaking loss after being so close. That's from Coach Mike. Coach Mike isn't wrong, you guys. Like a 9-4 record looks better than 6-4-3, but is an identity starting to be formed, or are they still feeling it out? Cass, what would you say?
I think they're still feeling it out. We're not all the way there yet. We haven't seen enough consistency yet to say, hey, they've flushed this thing out and they're playing how they should play, and we want them to play, and they will be playing on most nights. I don't think we're there yet, which is okay. Now I wish they were just there immediately, but we're not, and I don't think we're there yet. We can get there, but we're not there. We're not there yet, guys.
Roslovic getting a lot of flowers tonight. What's he do? I mean, his puck touches look good, but Cass, what are the subtle things maybe you're seeing that is giving him the confidence that he looks like he's building up here? Yeah,
well, the puck touches are the first thing. I think that's the easy isn't necessarily the right word, but that's the first thing that you notice because those look really good. They really do. Next to that, I would say that it's kind of tied into puck touches. He's been strong on the puck. So it's not just the touches of the puck, but he's been strong protecting it. Like he's moved it and put the puck into good positions, which is, I think, really benefited the team as a whole and benefited him in his play. Now, I think other thing that I'm noticing is he seems to, at least today and last game against New York, he seems to be reading off of Draisaitl quite well.
Yes.
Which has been, I think, a pretty big benefit to them, where he's putting himself in position and allowing those guys to succeed as well. So I think there's a few things going for him right now, and it's been a positive for a guy that struggled a little bit early on.
Benny, do you want to jump in on Roslovic? I'm just grabbing my notes from tonight's game.
He's looked real good. Like real good. We talked about him on the pregame show, how he's getting there, and maybe it was the training camp or missing training camp was what led to the slow start here. But he's looked real good, and again tonight gets rewarded on that power play one, which is nice to see. When Hyman comes back, and you would expect him to slide in with Connor and probably Nuge. To me, no matter what, you keep this line together of Roslovic, Draisaitl, Podkolzin. Like. Out of all the line matchups you've seen, Chris Knoblauch do, this line has clearly been the one that has gained the most amount of chemistry and it has clicked the most out of any line that he has formed so far this year. So when this team is fully healthy, you do whatever you can to keep this line together. Of course, at late in the third period, or an ozone draw, you'll see McDavid and Dry go out there. But for me, this is very encouraging that this line is continuing to play the way that they are. We've known that Leon and Podkolzin have had good chemistry, and now they're adding what seems like a very skilled right shot winger, which is what everyone's been wanting for this line for past however long. We'll see how the rest of the year turns out with Roslovic, but as of right now, you take this 5-game sample we have in the past week or so, he's been pretty damn good. So I've been very impressed with 28's game.
I'm going to read this text. It's from Shaggy. Shaggy says, Bouchard may have scored the OT winner, but he still sucks defensively. Difference tonight was Skinner made the saves after Bouch's blunders, and notice Skinner was finally above 900 save percentage. It's been a while. Oilers at least cheered me up after the Blue Jays. Oilers type 7, game 7 performance in championship series. Okay, so Shaggy brings up Stu Skinner, giving him a little bit of praise. Evan Bouchard gets the game-winning goal, you guys. He was obviously under fire after that loss to New York. He has had struggles. We talked about him on the pregame show. He still had some tough moments tonight. How do you grade him, Cass?
I'm giving him a B, which maybe
lowercase b.
Yeah, a lowercase b, more than he deserves. It's more than he deserves, but he scored the game winner.
Yeah.
So that kind of bumps him up from a C to a B because he got the game winner. I'm really hoping that's like a confidence boosting moment for him there. Like that's the thing, right? Like that spurs him on, that gets him going, that wakes him up, as it were. We'll see, but yeah, I don't know. You guys think a B is probably a little too nice?
I think you're being very generous tonight, even if it's a lowercase b. I think so. I was watching it. I was like, oh no. On a few instances, I was like, ugh.
What's his grade without the game winner?
C to C minus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta give credit for the goal, and they own the Black. Listen, they rolled over a few lines and they own the Blackhawks in OT, but he does get the winner. It doesn't completely, like you said, gloss over a performance where you probably want a little bit more consistency defensively, but it certainly helps. It's like sprinkling sugar on a old Danish that's been sitting out on the table for 2 days.
It's not quite. I was going to use the old. I don't know if you guys have heard the phrase, and this isn't applicable, but it made me think of the phrase is, you can put a bow tie on a turd, but it's still a turd. I don't know if you guys have heard that one before.
I didn't want to go with the turd talk,
but it's not at that level because it's not. Yeah. He's a very good player, and when he plays well, he's an extremely good player.
Yes.
So that's not what it is, but it was a lipstick on a not great night. Kind of made it a little bit better, but still some cracks there currently.
Definitely. Somebody said that Connor Ingram looked great. Yes, he's going to need a little bit more time in the minors, but good to hear that he's playing better down in Bakersfield. We'll see how that continues, but you got a pretty good performance from your number one tonight in Stuart Skinner. All right, so the Oilers will hit the road for a couple games here. They go St. Louis and Dallas early next week, and then they come home next Saturday. And I'm just trying to remember who they get Colorado next Saturday. So you start off November right. Are there some habits? Are you noticing, Cass, like habits that were kind of bothersome in the first month of the year that they maybe kind of were cleaning up, or was it a lot of blech, as Penny likes to say again tonight?
It still was kind of just that average. Again, like very positive that they won the game and they found a way to win. And it took them to overtime. That's great. Very, very good. But it was still just kind of an average game. Like, I get they dominated overtime, but they not once during the rest of that game was I confident that they were going to win with how they were playing. And that generally was a feeling through the month of October as well, where it's like I didn't ever feel confident where I'm like, oh yeah, they're going to win this game. Like the Utah game after the second period, maybe. But outside of that, I don't think that feeling was there. And it was kind of more the same today. So from a habit standpoint, still too many turnovers, still not quick enough in transition, still not shooting in some of the prime opportunities when they have them. So that would be still the things that are kind of irking this team and irking me a little bit. The shooting from a prime location being a prime one of them.
Oh my.
So from a habit standpoint, those were still there. So it's not fixed yet. Not fixed yet.
There was a moment in the third period, later in the game, or maybe it was early third period, but Draisaitl had the puck in the slot, and he passes it to Podkolzin.
Yep.
And Podkolzin's like by the goal line, and he still got a shot off, and I guess you call it a chance, but I'm sorry, guys. I would like to see the guy who generally scores 50 a year shoot it from the slot, then pass to the guy that gets 8 if he's having a good season. I thought that really put a stamp on like what you were saying, Cass. They just don't want to shoot, man. Like, shoot the damn puck. You guys have great shots. And they can't. Like Frankie Nazar took a wrist shot in the first period and it hit the post. It barely made a sound off the post. And that puck went flying like 100 feet back the other way into the stands. And he ripped like a 35-footer and he beat Stu Skinner. Like, these guys can pound that puck and they just don't want to. It's super frustrating for anybody, I think, not just Oilers fans, but I don't know. Like, do you do a Gordon Bombay Mighty Ducks where you come up with an unconventional drill cast and you teach them how to shoot from the slot? Get the eggs out and make them cradle the pass. And you want to teach them soft hands, and you want your goalie to stop pucks and not be afraid of them. So you tie him to a net and just fire away. Yeah. What would you come up with for the Oilers to just shoot the damn puck in the slot?
I don't know. You hang hot dogs in the corner of the net. Burgers, maybe donaires, I don't know, whatever they're into these days. Maybe those. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Tie some kind of reward to it. Gen Z kids and younger people these days seem to really like that sort of stuff, where it's like, give me the rewards, but it's got to be a random reward. That's the thing. You can't tell them what they're going to get. It's like you have the all kinds of potential options inside of a box, and you're like, whoever. If you don't pass up a shot, you get the box. Now, what's inside the box? It could be like 2 minutes of power play time if you're a guy that normally doesn't get power play time. It could be like, McDavid and Draisaitl might be a little trickier because they already get all the ice time and penalty kill time and everything they want. But I'm trying to think of like you could have it be random. It's like where you have 30 boxes and like 5 of them are extra power play time. Like 5 of them are like a burger. 5 of them are like an extra Gatorade. So it's not that like, that's like your common one or whatever. And then like, I don't know, maybe the like, it's like a nice steak dinner of some sort could be in one. Like, I don't know. You got to figure out something here, and try to make them gamblers and degenerates with like random loot boxes, like video games and what they do to kids. Although I guess that's technically not gambling, but it kind of is. I don't know. That maybe that's what I'm doing if I'm Knobloch, because you got to figure something out, guys, and it's not. Yeah. I don't know.
What that made me think of? Like, that was a great diatribe, first of all. I enjoyed that. It went in directions I did not expect it to. But do you remember that game on Price is Right? I'm not sure if they still play it with Drew Carey as the host, but it was like the wall, and you had to punch. You'd have to guess like higher or lower, and it gave you X amount of punches, and whatever holes you punched, that's what you won. That sort of kind of reminds me of what you're describing, because I used to love that game. I'd be like, I don't know if I'd punch in this line, I would punch that line, and I would never punch 2 in a row. I used to love that game. So
it's like the loot boxes.
Loot boxes,
like, right?
Yes.
That's what it is. It's randomized. You don't really know what you're going to get. It's random reward, but like scientifically, that's like the best way to get people motivated to do stuff like that. I mean, that's why you see like, and I know this because I have daughters, and my daughters like Barbies, and there's like the color change Barbies or whatever the things are that's like, it's in a sealed bag. You don't know which one you're going to get. And I'm like, it's one of 6, honey. It doesn't matter. But it's like they're willing to pay $10 more, or they want you to, for this thing, because you don't know what it's going to get. And maybe we get the super special one that is like really rare, the ultra rare one. So I don't know. It's ultra rare enough for them to shoot from the slot that maybe if you tie it to something like that, maybe it'll work. Maybe.
Curtis Lazar is going to earn himself power play 1 minute by shooting the puck.
Yep, there you go.
Can you imagine?
Good for him. I hope he does it.
Yes.
Pull the right loot box, Kurt.
Yeah. Go, Curtis. Go
Blazers.
Curtis. Yeah, I love that. Did you play with Curtis? Was he drafted?
I did.
Yeah. Great guy.
Just a little baby. Yeah, a fresh bebe in the league at that time. Yeah.
Excellent use of fresh bebe. Let's get to a few texts here. It's Cass, it's Benny, it's Tommy with you. Oilers win 3-2 in overtime over the Blackhawks. Kind of making people feel a bit better after watching the Jays drop just an absolutely thrilling Game 7 to the Dodgers. So heartbreaking. Scotty Noah says, maybe the Killers will write a song about it for Tommy. Maybe. I'll just write them a letter. Can you please write this song, guys? This text says, it's from Sipple 2025, says, I think Hyman might play like a madman because, he wants a chance to play on the Olympic team. We're still awaiting Zach Hyman to come back, maybe by that game against Colorado on the 8th. That's exactly a week away. And he has been skating, which is good. So has Janmark and Regula. That's the update. Janmark's shoulder, Regula obviously got hit there by Evander Kane in the second game of the season. All right. Cass, when you look at this back-to-back coming up right away here, you get St. Louis. St. Louis has been, I don't know, okay? What would we call them? Just okay average, this season?
Yeah, all right.
Average.
Yeah. There. Yeah.
And then you go to Dallas, and I know the perception of Dallas is great team. They've been to the conference final a couple of times. The Oilers have their number, and people are kind of worried about them. But the Stars right now, the start that they are off to, it's not bad, 6-3-3. And they've dropped 2 in overtime, by the way. How do you look at these next 2 games, back-to-back nights, in usually, traditionally, buildings that have given the Oilers fits? And St. Louis, by the way, 3-7-2 so far.
Yeah, no, St. Louis, very, very average to below average. You have, I feel like we've said this over and over again, but it just depends on what type of NHL team the Oilers are on that given night.
Yeah.
That really is what it comes down to. From a tactical standpoint, you got to think that they want to be managing the ice time of some of the guys. Playing St. Louis first, that's definitely the more winnable of the 2 games if we're lining up roster to roster. And so you got to think you want to make sure that you find a way to win the first one out of that, right? And really, you look at those 2 games and you say, hey, 3 points are better and we're happy with it. Ideally 4 would be great, but 3 points are better in a back-to-back. Dallas is a good team second night. I don't think Dallas plays the night before either, if I'm not mistaken.
I'll check it.
No, they don't. I had the schedule here. So they do not play. So you're playing a rested team, second night, back-to-back. That first night, super important. Minute management for Knoblauch and his lines. Now, it's gotten slightly better or a little bit easier with having that second line of Draisaitl, Roslovic, and Podkolzin going, where he's been able to, at least for Draisaitl, limit minutes to a certain extent, or spread out some of those 5-on-5 minutes a little bit. Back-to-back games, it's going to be important. And that's just not even just for those games. I just look long-term over the course of the entire season where that's going to be important. They still play, I guess, a ton of minutes tonight now that I look at it. 25 minutes for McDavid, 25:04, and 22:22 for Draisaitl. So it's you're still playing those guys a ton, and you got to figure out how to manage that in a back-to-back. And then going to get both goalies. So, those guys are still important in back-to-backs. Obviously, some people just wish that Stuart Skinner didn't play any of them, but going to play one.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Super incredible.
Yeah. All right. Cass, anything else from you tonight? I know you're probably tired and want to have a snack and maybe go nana.
You know what? It's going to be hard not to eat a little bit of the Halloween candy or a bag of chips or something and feel bad about the Blue Jays and that, because I just feel for that. I was so excited for. I was really hoping, and I stood up in the bottom of the ninth on the hit because I was ready to go do it.
Yeah.
As I was going to sprint upstairs and grab the kids and wake them up and bring them down to watch, because I'm like, I remember my dad doing that for both of the World Series in the 90s for the Jays. I still remember that. I remember him waking us up and actually getting to watch live. Joe Carter hit the home run, and didn't get to. So I'm going to drown my sorrows in probably a small bag of Cheetos Puffs or something similar to that, and then brush my teeth and go to bed.
Very nice.
Sun will come up tomorrow, and we'll focus on hockey. But we can feel bad about it for 2 hours. That's what we get. That's what we get, everybody. 2 hours. You can feel poorly about it for 2 hours, and then we got to move on.
Ironically enough, I was dipping into a bag of Chicago-style popcorn. I love the caramel. It's just so good. Yeah.
Yep.
That bag's just staring at me and on my couch right now. And I've got a mug root beer. That's my party time for today.
There you go.
Yeah. Cass, great stuff, my friend.
All right. Good night, guys.
Have a good weekend. There you go. There's Matt Cassian helping us break down the Oilers 3-2 overtime win over the Chicago Blackhawks. So your thoughts, 780-218-9999 on a rainy November day in Edmonton. Do we gain an hour or do we lose an hour tomorrow? I think we
gain.
Are we falling back? Are we falling back or am I off?
Sure we gain.
That? Yeah, because you spring forward and you fall back.
Yeah.
Is that tomorrow? Am I losing it?
Daylight saving or yeah. Hold on, let me look this up actually.
I don't know. I mean, you let me know. So maybe I'll take that extra day of or hour of rest. Let's get into some. Oh, we do. Oh, excellent. Yeah. Let's get to some. Well, I'm going to go to the turning point of the game actually, because I know we have Reid coming up. Reid work in the locker room. Reid work in the coach's room. But for now, we're going to go to the turning point of the game presented by Advantage Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy. Conor McDavid's got a team of specialists. You have a bag of frozen peas. Get the same locker room approach trusted by the best in the game at Advantage Sport Medicine. Book your assessment today, www.advantagesportmed.ca, or call 780-460-9977. Tell them EST sent you. It's going to be the overtime winner. It's going to be Evan Bouchard's goal. It was the Oilers just absolutely owning possession in overtime, wearing down the Hawks. You could see them. They were tired. The Oilers rolling in a couple of line changes there, and then they get the big dogs out. McDavid, Draisaitl. Unbelievable opportunity for Matthias Ekholm, Benny. And that was a great play by Andrew Mangiapane. I'm liking Mangiapane. I talked to him the other day. Yep. He was fantastic. He's been a good fit for this Oilers team.
I was gonna mention. Anyway. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was gonna mention.
No, go ahead.
Well, when you guys had the one-on-one, on what was that last game? Yeah. It's so nice to have a guy that you bring in the offseason as kind of your guy. You're like, all right, that's the Oilers signing. Like, this is the guy. We'll see how he does. Mm-hmm. And he just fits in well. You know what I mean? Yeah. We've seen very recently guys brought in who are expected to fit in with the top guys that we have here in Edmonton. Yep. And they don't do it very well. And getting healthy scratch in the playoffs. Yep. Yeah, we saw a lot of that here in Edmonton last year, specifically two guys. But and even in prior history to that, it's we've seen guys coming here and just not fit well. It's nice to see Mangiapane come to Edmonton and just seem like he slid right in, no problem. He comes in, he does his job. You could expect him to probably put up 20 goals this year. First line, third line, second line, it doesn't really matter. Goes, works hard, gets pucks on the wall. Just a solid player. Seems like he's fitting really well here. I'm very, very happy with him. And who knows? I mean, I know we've talked quite a bit about him tonight, but Roslovic too. Seems like another guy like that the Oilers made a signing on. It was kind of just a low risk. We'll see how he does, and it seems like he's fitting in pretty well here too. So it's nice to see. It's nice to see some guys coming in gel.
Yes. Yeah, and people in the nasty chat are kind of agreeing, and a few people, including Shaggy, says Roslovic fits in well. Good point. I think everybody's on the same page. The signings this year, well, yeah, the ones of note have had a bigger impact early than the guys that they brought in that people expected big things from last year. Yeah. This one from James says, I agree, Benny, too many misses by the pro scouting department in the past. I think things are working out much better. Duck Dad says, I came up with something called weekend savings time. Monday through Thursday, you spring ahead 30 minutes. Friday and Saturday, you fall back an hour. I like that, Duck Dad. Very clever. Very clever. I appreciate that. Okay. Oh, I wanted to say this too. I thought Matt Savoy, even though he didn't get rewarded again, I thought he was actually buzzing around. I'm liking his game. And you know what? We talked about it a few times in the last week. Maybe it wasn't showing up on the score sheet, or his metrics weren't as promising as what he was doing on the ice. But, they keep throwing him out there, and I think they like him. And, Chris Knobloch has mentioned him quite often in just doing the right things. He likes his game. He's ready to be an NHLer. So I am liking what Savoy's doing, and hopefully that continues and he gets rewarded. Got that first career goal the other night when it bounced off of his shin pad. It was Adam Henrique. Hey, it went in. It's his goal. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, the turning point of the game to wrap this segment up, Evan Bouchard, second goal of the year at 2:43 of overtime from Draisaitl and McDavid. Also, a quick little McDavid stat pack for you here from NHL Public Relations. Conor McDavid factored on all three Oilers goals, tied Dale Hawerchuk for 14th most 3-assist games in NHL history. They have 56 each. The only active player with more 3-assist games is Sidney Crosby, and he has 67. That's very impressive. And then also in this stat pack from the NHL PR department, Conor McDavid posted his 138th career three-point game and has now passed Yari Curry for second most in Oilers history behind Wayne Gretzky. Gretzky only had 301 three-point games as a member of the Edmonton Oilers. No big deal. Yeah. So that's pretty significant. And then tonight, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Benny, moved past Ryan Smith for second all-time games played in Oilers Silks. Chasing Kevin Lowe. He could get there late in the season if he stays healthy. I think he's got 4 games of wiggle room, and that would be pretty neat to see. So congratulations to the Nuge, who is now second all-time games played as a member of the Edmonton Oilers. There's only one guy that's played 1,000 regular season games as an Oiler, and that's Kevin Lowe. Isn't that crazy?
That is nuts. Yeah, I'd be happy to see Nuge do it, because he's been like the loved guy here, right? Like he's just like,
for the most part.
For the most part, there's some criticism, especially the past couple of years and stuff with deep playoff runs. People wonder if he can make an impact. What a start he's had. Like I understand, like it's been a lot of doom and gloom that we've talked about on this show, and rightfully so. Like there's been a lot of bad with this team. But there's been actually some pretty solid bright spots around this team, and Nuge is one of them. Like he has started off very, very, very well. If he keeps this up, man, like this is like another gear that Nuge, I can't say hasn't hit, because he had a 100-point season not too long ago. But if he can even just get to 80, like that's awesome. Like you take that every day of the week, and who knows? I mean, I saw some chat about it in the Nasty chat. Do you go Nuge on the third line, first line when everyone's healthy? Because if he's playing the way that he is and he can drive his own line very well, all of a sudden you have a third line going that could put up some pretty good numbers for you as well. Obviously, we're counting our eggs before they hatch, but we'll see. He's had a very good start to the year, which is nice to see.
Nick in the North says, I need Nuge and Tommy's skincare routine. They don't age. Yeah, baby Nuge. I have a lot of time for him. I've basically, my second year of Oilers TV was when he got drafted. So we kind of grew up, came in together. I'm a little bit older than him, but I have a lot of time and appreciation for him. He's a good man. And I have no idea what to tell you about the skincare routine for both of us. Although I did see he's growing out his mustache today, and I was like, I am not. I will not be. Nobody needs to see that. I did it once.
Have you ever grown it out?
Oh, yeah. I'll show you a picture when I see you on Monday, but it was horrible.
Oh, really?
And I grew it my first year of Oilers. That was like 2010, I think, or 2011. It was awful. I remember I was holding the door open after I shot my post-game stand-up following another Oilers loss during the Decade of Darkness. It was the first game in December, and I was holding the door open for like a group of Oilers fans as they were leaving the club area, and they're all like, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then this one guy at the end doesn't even say thanks, just turns around, looks at me, and he goes, that was a shitty mustache. And I just was like, yep, touche, sir. Well played.
Wow.
It really was. I'll show
He had to say that?
Oh, yeah. He had a smile on his face and he was laughing. But I thought it was great. The way he deadpanned it, he sold it. But then he started smiling and I was like, yep, you're right. That was a crappy mustache. Absolutely. All right. We're going to get to Reid's Reid shortly. He is just settling in at his satellite studios. The Oilers win 3-2 in overtime. Evan Bouchard, the winner. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins did pick up an assist tonight. Conor McDavid, 3 assists. Leon Draisaitl, a goal and an assist. This text out of Calgary says, that Jays game was giving me bad flashbacks of that first Oilers loss to Florida. The better team lost, more deserving team lost. Other team flukes into a win/better team blows it. Yeah, that's a tough one for sure. People confirming Shanzi says, fall back 2 a.m. All right. Yeah. And then Adam from Lloyd. What's up, Adam from Lloyd? How's the Border City doing? Says, well, boys, the Jays tried to sour my spiced drums tonight, but the Oilers kept them sweet. I have to admit, I watched more of the Jays game than the Oilers game tonight, so can't comment much on it, but I did see some gaffes from Bouchard. Yes, we've definitely acknowledged those. Adam from Lloyd continues, says, thankfully, he totally redeemed himself in overtime. Jays didn't have the same caliber of pitching or batting as the Dodgers did in this series. Have to wonder if the extra $125 million contributed to that. Definitely. I'm not a big baseball fan, though, so back now to hockey full time. Cheers, fellas. Have a great night and a wonderful Sunday. Adam from Lloyd. Thanks for the text, Adam. Appreciate that very much. All right, let's bring in our dear friend Reid Wilkins for Reid's Reid, brought to you by Ewell, your power play specialist. Ewell has the gear you need for your next electrical project with 3 Edmonton area locations, and you can order online anytime at ewell.ca. Ewell, your Edmonton-based partner in power and source for all things electrical. This guy is always electric. He's buzzing. He's got the power, baby. It is Reid Wilkins. Reid, you and I were watching, like Adam from Lloyd and a lot of people who've texted in, we were watching the Jays game more so than the Oilers game. And you said to me, you're like, this is a really interesting, unique moment. What stood out to you about the night?
Yeah. Well, a couple of things. First of all, Adam from Lloyd, what did he say? The Dodgers had the better hitters? I'm not sure they did.
I'll read it.
I'm not sure that they did.
Pitching or bad, yeah.
The Dodgers didn't stage a lot of rallies with multi-run innings, but they hit home runs at key times. And then in the last 2 games, the Blue Jays couldn't cash in runners. I mean, I'm just looking at the box scores. Tonight, the Blue Jays left 14 runners on base.
Wow.
And were 3 for 17 with runners in scoring position. 3 for 17 with runners in scoring position. And left 14 men on base. Now, the Dodgers weren't much better. They left 10 men on base, and they went 1 for 11 with runners in scoring position. But they hit home runs. And in Game 6, the Blue Jays left 8 men on base and were 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position. And the Dodgers were 2 for 6. So, I mean, the Blue Jays out-hit them 8-4 in Game 6. They had 14 hits tonight to the Dodgers 11, but the Dodgers hit the long ball, and they had robot pitcher Yamamoto on their side. I mean, he was as important as Ohtani in this series. Maybe more important by the end. I know Ohtani had a game when he got on base 9 times. But a crushing loss. I mean, they couldn't cash in. They couldn't get they had a 2-run lead with 6 outs to go, right? And they gave up 1 in the 8th and 1 in the 9th. And obviously had a great chance to win it in the bottom of the 9th and then even tie it in the 11th. So yeah, it's tough. You're right, Tom. I mean, I've covered in person or on television. I've covered, it would be over 1,000 Oilers games now. This is probably the least I've ever paid attention to one.
You weren't alone, Reid. You weren't alone.
I mean, it was on the Jumbotron, half and half, picture in picture. Jay always likes to mention picture in picture on our
Classic.
show. It was very odd. And then they didn't have it on at all for the 3rd period, the baseball game. There was a loud cheer when people momentarily thought that the Jays had won the game with that slide into home plate. I think that was still in the 9th. Conor McDavid was asked about it. He must have used the word strange 6 times. Like Connor was really good, by the way, post game talking.
See if we can grab that.
He probably used the word strange half a dozen times. He also called it. I got to check what I posted on Twitter here. He called it strange. He called it distracting, and then once he even used the word bizarre. Like Bouchard said, it was kind of the same thing. He didn't use the same type of language, but he's like, you can't help but peek up or see what's happening, if you're on the bench.
Yeah.
And Knobloch was a little more diplomatic about it. He said, it added to the energy and kind of congratulated the Jays on a good run.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering what we're going to do, Tom. I mean, the different situation, different stadium size, different meaning to the game. The Elks were up against game 1. The Elks game was meaningless, obviously. Yep. I mean, if that would have been interesting if that Elks Stamps game was for a playoff spot last Friday, what they would have done. But the Elks actually said, hey, we're putting it on it's on the main screen till kickoff, and then it's on the concourse and in the Jackie Parker Lounge and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
I was wondering what the Oilers were going to do. I mean, it was weird. And now with phones, everybody's following it anyway. I would love to know what went into the decision for the Oilers.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody with OEG would tell us even off the record. Maybe we'll sniff around. If it was me, quite frankly, and I honestly want to know what listeners would have done. If they were in charge of that, what would have they done? I would not have put the baseball game on the scoreboard.
Agreed. I wonder if they talked about it to take it off in the third.
Yeah, and then it came off in the third in extra innings. So was that... somebody then had to make that call, because then it's an extra innings. Well, now the game's going to be decided. It's probably during the third period, unless it goes 18 innings again. I guess if it would have gone 12 or 13, it would have been the whole third period. I mean, if it was me, I would have said, look, people are there to watch the hockey game. We're a huge brand ourselves. If they've bought a ticket and decide they want to watch baseball, they can stay home, and we still have their money. I guess we won't get their beer money. But I'd love to know what went into it. And Connor you could tell Connor didn't like it, I think, by the language that he used and how he gave a pretty thorough answer about it. But yeah, it was I'll always remember this night for the Blue Jays lost. And I guess the trivia question for us, Tom, will be what game were you and I at? It'll be Oilers and Blackhawks. But I still followed the hockey game, but my notes aren't as thorough. There certainly were gaps in how closely I was watching the hockey game, no doubt about it.
I have 5 lines that I wrote. Usually I have a full page. That's
right. Yeah. And one of those just says, remind self to tell Reid he's handsome.
Yeah, it does say that. First line, actually.
Yeah, it's just a note of affection towards me.
Tell Reid he looks hot tonight. Is that weird?
Not at all.
No, I didn't think so. All right, Reid Wilkins with you now here on the GCL Diesel.
Having a splash of Coke, by the way.
I'm having a mug.
A little more than a splash.
You're having a splash? I'm having a can of mug.
Guys, I'm the party pooper. I don't have anything with me.
Come on, Betty. Get in on this action. Reid Wilkins with you for Reid's Read, brought to you by Ewell. Tom Gazzola, Ben Thomson with you as well. Oilers win 3-2. Over Chicago in overtime. Evan Bouchard gets the winner. You can still text us 780-218-9999. Get to the nasty chat as well. Thanks to all of you who are staying up late to hang out with us on this Saturday. Oh, Dusty's up late. He had the call earlier today in Montreal. And Dusty says, Reid is having a splash of Coke? I knew it. Yes, I love that. A little splash for Reid Rick. Okay, Reid. They win. From what we watched, it didn't seem like they were dominating the play, but what were some of your observations from Edmonton's game tonight?
I thought they were the better team up until Chicago getting the power play goal 8.5 minutes into the second period. Mm-hmm. And then I thought Chicago really came on. The Oilers outshot Chicago 13-6 in the first period. And then for the game, it was 30-29, right? And Chicago outshot Edmonton 11-4 in the third. Mm-hmm. So, I thought the Oilers were decent. I thought Chicago was decent. I thought both teams competed pretty hard. I think we're seeing Chicago maybe start to turn a corner in terms of them being a poor team for the last few years.
Good point.
But yeah, the Oilers' power play came through. I think the positives in this game for me would be Roslovic. He scored kind of a Hyman, even Alex Chason type goal. Like he was good at those on the
Alex
power play.
Chason pull.
Oh.
But we've seen Roslovic like 3 games in a row now make a good individual rush to the net. So that's good. He looks better. He's taking some initiative. I actually thought Stuart Skinner had a good game. I mean, there were some difficult shots or important saves he made along the way. He stops 27 out of 29. Bouchard, I believe, had the only Chicago shot in overtime. So I thought Skinner kind of quietly had a solid game tonight. And they were certainly better than a couple days ago. But Knobloch kind of said, "Yeah, better, not where we want to be." McDavid, paraphrasing, kind of the same thing. Better. Not where we want to be. He actually, I can't remember, he said something about emotion. And I mean, we've been talking about that on Edmonton Sports Talk. Like,
yes.
Where's the emotion? Like, even in the regular season, there's still sort of a baseline emotion you have to play at. So I don't think they're happy with their game. And on one hand, I think, I'm sure our audience might be frustrated with that. It's like, well, why can't they get to where they need to be? I guess the positive side is they recognize they're not where they need to be and that they need to keep building, as the stages of the season continue to progress. And McDavid really stuck up for Bouchard in his post-game interview. He was like, "We love him. Screw you guys in the media," basically.
I'm sorry.
But of course he's going to do that.
They're teammates. They're friends.
He should do that. And those of us in the media and the fans who are frustrated, I think, have every right to be frustrated as well. That's the game, right?
Yeah. Yes. That's fair. All right. I'm going to read this text. Comes in from Ryan out in Saskatchewan. It says, "I agree with you guys, Benny specifically. Definitely some bright spots so far this year. The other thing we have to remember is the Oilers are marked on every team's calendar. When you win the West 2 years in a row, teams are always up to play. You need more from lots of guys, but the record's still better than it was last 2 years to this point." Thanks, Ryan from Sask. Hope you're doing good. Chris texting in says, "Bouchard thought they were cheering for him on that rush." Yes. Well played. All right. We only have a few minutes left. We're not going to go too heavy tonight. Reid, Cass used Jekyll and Hyde as a reference pregame going into New York. I kind of said I had a line about it at the start of the pregame today. This team, does it have, or is it forming an identity in your opinion, or is it still TBD?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I think it will form an identity, but I think a lot of teams want to have the same identity. Every team in the NHL, play solid defensively, don't give the puck away, and then work to create offense. I think that the lines seem to be steadying a little bit. I mean, Knobloch said, I can't remember when it was earlier this week, about we've sort of found the way we want the lines to look now. Of course, they're going to change, but there's been less tinkering the last couple of games, so hopefully that's helping. I mean, I hope they're building to something. I mean, but McDavid kind of said it, right? Like, still clean up the turnovers, play a little more responsible, and just find a little bit more emotion. It's still not there yet. And maybe that's just the part of them being a veteran team now and building throughout the course of a season. But certainly, I mean, they've been to overtime 5 times. They're 2-3. Ideally, you're not chasing. I know they got a couple games they were trailing into overtime. Or, a game like this, there were chances maybe to make it 3-1, or 3-2. Like, they had a power play with the score tied, right? When it was Bouchard took a hooking penalty when it was still 2-1 Edmonton.
2-1,
a chance to make it 3-1. Like, you'd like to see them pounce on some opportunities a little more and have a team playing off its heels a little bit more than we've seen throughout most of the games this season.
This upcoming road trip through St. Louis and Dallas, worrisome, or you're like, they'll be fine? How do you look at it?
I feel as if I can go on Sharp Sports now. I feel like St. Louis has been an arena of horrors. Now, maybe I'm still scarred from, I started doing hosting on the other station the last 3 years of the Decade of Darkness.
Yeah.
And St. Louis would beat the crap out of them routinely.
I was there for those.
You were there for those as well.
Yeah. It was a guaranteed loss every time we went there.
I think they had a really tough game in St. Louis last year, and then the other one, I think they won in overtime.
They did.
On the Connor Brown goal.
Yeah. They won in OT and they lost in OT.
Or did they lose an overtime game last year?
They won their one visit.
Oh, February of 2024.
Yeah, I'm looking at Sharp Sports as well. Yeah.
February 2024, they lost 6-3, and I think Neighbors had... Yeah, it's been kind of back and forth the last 6 or 7 games. Well, even the last 10 or so. Well, you know what? Since McDavid's been in the league, they're about even in St. Louis, oddly enough. Though I think wasn't his very first game in October 8th, 2015 in St. Louis.
Yep.
Yeah, when the Blues scored on their own net off a face-off. That's the only way Edmonton scored.
Nugent Hopkins got credit for that
so
one.
I guess it hasn't been as bad in St. Louis against the Blues as I feel like. There was a 7-2 game a few years ago and 6-3 a couple seasons ago. But, I still think the Blues are a dangerous opponent. They still have a lot of those guys that can play that kind of heavy, grind-you-down game. And then, Dallas, good rematch. The Gulletson angle going up against his former team, and they got a pretty dangerous roster. So I think
David Pelche, the assistant coach now.
Oh yeah, right. I forgot about that.
Sorry to interrupt. That's good. What
are their records now? So the Blues
6-3-3 is Dallas.
Well, the Blues are doing quite poorly actually.
Yeah, Stars are pretty good so far.
Yeah. Yeah, so another good test, kind of a tougher back-to-back, but looking forward to it. I'm glad. They do have 6 points now in their last 4 games, so they have been able to bank some points this week, even though there have been a couple of frustrating outings.
Well said, my friend. All right, get some rest. Good work as always. I'll see you on Monday.
Hey, I got to tell you something. I moved my clocks back before I left for the rink.
Weird.
Wow.
So it's still early for me, baby.
Oh,
I might
have another splash.
I might have something with more kick to it than Coca-Cola before I go to bed.
You spicy boy. He's a spicy boy. All right, Riedrich, enjoy.
Okay, see ya.
There you go. There's Reid Wilkins with Reid's Read, brought to you by Ewell. Okay, we've got a few more texts that have come in. Actually, pretty good viewership considering everything that's gone on tonight. I'm sure the listenership's decent as well. If you're listening on iHeart, TuneIn, maybe EdmontonSportsTalk.com's audio player, we appreciate you. Maybe you're listening to it in podcast form tomorrow on the 2nd. We appreciate that as well. And then to those watching, thank you. Benny, let's get to... Do you want to do player of the game or do you want to do McDavid? Because we have McDavid.
We do have McDavid.
Should we do player of the game?
Let's do player of the game. I'll give it 30 seconds and then we'll.
All right, sounds good. We'll keep it neat and tidy. What? Do you have something else to add?
Nope.
Or do you want me to get to the liner?
Go to liner. Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Let's get to the Damon Bunting Real Estate Player of the Game. Damon Bunting, consistent top producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area for over 18 years. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. Betty Thomson, take it away.
We've talked about him quite a bit on this post-game show, but his name has been brought up more and more, seems like every game. That's a great sign. Jack Roslovic, all over it tonight.
Nice.
Another great game for him. I honestly, I considered Connor because I felt like Connor's starting to get his feet under him a little bit and make plays. 3 assists tonight. I'm pretty sure that's his first 3-point outing of the year. Might be mistaken on that. But yeah, I'm gonna give it to Jack Roslovic. It seems like he's fitting in really well. Let's hope this continues because the scouting report was that he's pretty inconsistent. So let's hope that he continues this good play throughout the rest of the year. And so I guess just same for the whole line. Whole line's been doing well.
That Podkolzin was looking good. He got the penalty shot, didn't score on it though. Yeah. But it's looking. They even put Podkolzin out there in overtime. I was like, really? Huh?
I know. I was very surprised by that. Honestly, I was like,
oh. So was I. I mean, it's good for him.
Yeah.
But
he doesn't have a really scoring touch to him. So I was like, it's kind of what you want in overtime. But
some people thought he'd get 40 points this year. It's a bit silly.
Yeah.
Anyway. Anyway, yeah, it's a bit of a stretch. Wishful thinking. Let's hear from Conor McDavid on the night the Oilers win in overtime, but the night that the Blue Jays fall in Game 7 of the World Series in heartbreaking fashion. Here's McDavid.
But some of the guys were frustrated with maybe some turnovers and some of that type of play. Do you feel it was cleaner tonight overall?
Maybe a little bit, just a touch, but still some things to clean up.
The overtime goal, I'm not criticizing your skating or your puck handling, but when you slip for a little bit to 3-on-3, does your heart skip a beat to keep that play alive?
Yeah, you just want to keep it alive, obviously. I thought it was two really, really good shifts by our guys in a row, and then, kind of get them hemmed there, and you're just trying to keep it alive. Obviously, I'm taking on a forward and trying to make something happen, slip a little bit, but just keep it alive, and obviously Leo and Bouchard make a great play.
Roslovic was right there for that power play goal. How do you think he played on the PP?
Yeah, he was great. Honestly, he's been great since he's been here. It's pretty impressive, really. Doesn't have a camp. Jumps right in and has looked real dangerous every game. He's been great.
Can I ask you about Bouchard? We've been talking a fair amount about him this year. He stood in there the other night and answered some questions about turnovers and then an overtime winner tonight. What do you see on your end from a guy just pushing through it and trying to figure it out?
Isn't that the most Bouch thing ever? To stand in there like he does, you guys can say what you want about him. We love him in there. We know his best is among the very, very, very best. We got his back no matter what's going on. So, his play can be better. Everyone's play can be better. But really happy for him to get that big goal and quiet some people a little bit.
I wanted to ask you about the focus and prior to play this game when they're showing the Jays game on, fans are cheering Jays stuff. What was that like?
That was really, really strange. Obviously, we're all on the Jays bandwagon and everybody's wanting them to win, and it's so disappointing, obviously. But strange to have it on during the game. Listening to the crowd was distracting for sure. I'm glad they shut it off there for the third.
When they're showing it, not only showing it, but they're showing it with sound during the TV timeouts as well.
Yeah,
that's
it was bizarre. Yeah, it was bizarre. It was bizarre. I found myself watching the Jays game, sitting on the bench. Listening to the crowd while I'm on the ice. What just happened. It was very strange. But you know what? Historic moment. Couldn't be more gutted for those guys. Obviously we know what that feels like. It's for it to be the way it happened, just completely gutted for those guys. Been a fun run and been a lot of fun. They've given Canada a lot to cheer about, and they should be very, very proud of themselves.
You guys have obviously been in that same situation where the whole country kind of rallied around you.
Yeah, special. Special to, and that's just, I keep on saying this is what sports is all about, is bringing people together. And for the last, throughout the summer and the last 2 months especially, they've really brought people together, and that's what it's all about. So, as I said, those guys can be very proud, hold their heads high. It was a special group.
Conor, what do you make of this past week? And I know it's been a up and down week, but yet you guys come out with 6 points from your last 4 games, still getting pretty valuable points. Yeah,
we're finding ways to get points. It hasn't been very pretty, but it's October hockey. It's a bit scrambly, a bit emotionless at times. We got to find a way to bring some emotion into the game, get ourselves going a little bit during some of those lulls. But we're finding ways to put points on the board, and that's what it's all about. Not off to the best start of our lives, but not off to the worst start either. So we're hanging in there right now.
Okay, there's the captain, Conor McDavid, rooting on the Jays while he's on the bench watching them.
Yeah.
And then hearing the crowd while he's on the ice trying to get a goal, trying to make things happen on a national broadcast game on a Saturday night against the Chicago Blackhawks. Yeah, definitely different. And they did shut it off in the third. I'm wondering if somebody from the hockey ops department just said, get that game off the screen, you guys.
It is very odd to me that they were showing the game live while the Oilers game was going on. That is just such an odd thing. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure there were some people there that bought tickets early and then didn't expect the Jays to go to Game 7 of the World Series, and now they're in the weird spot where they gotta go to an Oilers game they paid for. But I don't know, it's just such a weird. You have your phone, you can stream it on your phone nowadays. It was odd, but I found McDavid's quotes pretty funny there. It's like, it was very weird, bizarre.
It was strange. It was distracting. Yeah, all those things. And a lot of people didn't sit in their seats during the game. They're watching on TVs in the concourse or wherever they could watch. Like I'm looking back at, like I went from press row to the bigger TVs in the press box up, at the back. And a bunch of us were just watching there. Wow. And then there was like the Jays game, but like two big TVs there. Yeah. Jays game right beside the Oilers game. And the Oilers game was like 10 seconds behind on the feed than it was like live. So you'd go back like in between pitches and stuff. Yeah, you'd go and look, see what's going on the ice. Then you go back to the TV. It was bizarre. It was strange up there too. And you could see like so many people decided to watch on the concourse instead of going to their seats to watch the hockey. I've never, like Reid, I've never experienced an Oilers game like that before, where something of that significance in another market for another sport that has captured everybody was going on at the very same time. It was different. I'll always remember it for sure. And I'll say this, I'll reiterate too. That was a tremendous World Series.
It was.
Like, you know what? Like,
disappointing ending, but
yeah,
like
tip of the cap to the Blue Jays, man. That was a hell of a season. Not a Jays fan, but I can respect what they did. That is as close as you get, and that was just amazing baseball. That is baseball at its finest. That's why in October and when the playoffs start, it just gets so ramped up and. It is so fun to watch compared to, a game in the middle of June where, players are probably hungover and they don't give a crap where it's getaway day and they're more worried about their reservation at the next city than they are the actual game that they're playing. So fall ball is the best, man. And tip of the cap to the Blue Jays for just, a hell of a ride for sure.
100%. They're a lot of fun to watch.
All right. I'm going to read off a couple more texts. So get some final thoughts from Benny and myself. This one from Chris says, best Oilers post game in the biz. Only watched about 10 minutes of this game, but the EST team made it feel like I watched it all. Have a good night and enjoy that extra hour. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. Have a nice Sunday. New texter. Oh, all right. Long-time listener, first-time texter. Also fellow Nate RTA grad circa 2000. Woo! All right, let's go RTA. Thanks for clarifying the Jays game was on in the rink. Couldn't have figured out how everyone knew what was going on. And then when the crowd started the Let's Go Blue Jays chant, I thought maybe too much when watching an Oilers game. So can understand why they might have cut the feed in the third. Anyway, great show as always. Keep up the good work. No name on that text, but first-time texter. Thank you. We appreciate it. And then I'll give the final word from the inbox to Ryan from Saskatchewan. Says, tough schedule this month. Hadn't really looked at it that closely. 3 back-to-backs. And the tough Eastern swing. Have a good one, guys. Always enjoy the show. Ryan from Sass. Thank you, Ryan. We appreciate it. The feeling is definitely mutual. All right, that's it for the texts. Benny, final thoughts?
Yeah, solid game from an Oilers perspective here. Just solid win. You took care of business against a team you should be beating. Although Chicago's having a pretty solid start. Let's start to see this start to become more consistent. That's the goal now. You're going back on the road. You've had your ups and downs just on this 3-game homestand itself. Let's see it start to play out, have more consistent efforts. I think it's getting there. I'd love to see it continue as they hit the road, have a back-to-back to start off the week. So, let's look for some consistent Oilers play, and we'll see how they do on the road.
Benny, good point about this homestand. They do improve to 4-0-2 at home this season, so that's actually pretty good. It's that road record that needs a little bit of work. 2-4-1, but they get an opportunity on Monday in St. Louis, and then they get to try to do it again on Tuesday in Dallas. It's going to be very, very interesting. And then Reid, because Reid was talking about like the Jays and how they were hitting. He sent in a tweet from Josh Goldberg. And it says, Blue Jays had 22 more hits, scored 8 more runs, and hit .66 higher and still lost. And then Josh Goldberg writes, I need to log off. Yeah, that's a tough one. Oh, man. I feel bad for people that were hoping for another World Series, first one in 32 years. I do remember Joe Carter's home run. I think it was 8 And I remember like everybody, I think my dad had it on at my parents' old place, and everybody was jumping up and down. He might have had a buddy or two over. I don't remember 92 against Atlanta, but I do remember 93. That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Didn't happen, unfortunately. I could imagine what the party would be like coast to coast. And I like when it brings people together and there's a good time, but tough one tonight. But the Oilers kind of helped turn some of those frowns upside down with the 3-2 win. Evan Bouchard gets the winner. Not perfect from Bouchard, but tucks it home and gives the Oilers a 3-2 victory. That's a pair of points for the Oil. 6-4-3 on the season is the record, heading into games in St. Louis and Dallas Monday, Tuesday, and then they play on Saturday at home against Colorado. Of course, we'll have all your coverage starting Monday morning when the boys are back. Dusty and Eric kick things off 6 a.m. Without further ado, I'm going to say good night, everybody. Mix in water if you've had a few beverages. Enjoy the extra hour of sleep. Thanks for watching. Thank you for listening. For Benny, Cass, and Reid, I'm Tommy saying ciao for now.